Language Foundation's vocabulary flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Language, communication by word of mouth. His speech was garbled. The mental faculty or power of vocal communication. The act of delivering a formal spoken communication to an audience. Words making up the dialogue of a play. The actor forgot his speech. A lengthy rebuke. Your characteristic style or manner of expressing yourself orally. Her speech was barren of southernisms. Something spoken. He could hear them uttering merry speeches. The exchange of spoken words. They were perfectly comfortable together without speech. A systematic means of communicating by the use of sounds or conventional symbols. He taught foreign languages. Language, communication by word of mouth. He uttered harsh language. A system of words used to name things in a particular discipline. The language of sociology. The mental faculty or power of vocal communication. Language sets Homo sapiens apart from all other animals. The cognitive processes involved in producing and understanding linguistic communication. He didn't have the language to express his feelings. The text of a popular song or musical comedy number. The song uses colloquial language. Language, communication by word of mouth. 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 He recorded the spoken language of the streets. Language, communication by word of mouth. Put an address on an envelope. Social skill. Give a speech to. The chairman addressed the board of trustees. Written directions for finding some location, written on letters or packages that are to be delivered to that location. Speak to someone. Computer science. The code that identifies where a piece of information is stored. Speak to. He addressed the crowd outside the window. The act of delivering a formal spoken communication to an audience. He listened to an address on minor Roman poets. Greet, as with a prescribed form, title, or name. He always addresses me with, Sir. Act on verbally or in some form of artistic expression. Access or locate by address. Address or apply oneself to something, direct one's efforts towards something, such as a question. Adjust and aim, a golf ball, at in preparation of hitting. A sign in front of a house or business carrying the conventional form by which its location is described. Direct a question at someone. The manner of speaking to another individual. He failed in his manner of address to the captain. The place where a person or organization can be found or communicated with. The stance assumed by a golfer in preparation for hitting a golf ball. Words making up the dialogue of a play. An angry dispute. They had words. Words making up the dialogue of a play. The text of a popular song or musical comedy number. He wrote both words and music. Language that is spoken or written. He has a gift for words. The words that are spoken. I listened to his words very closely. Censure severely or angrily. Teaching by giving a discourse on some subject, typically to a class. Deliver a lecture or talk. Did you ever lecture at Harvard? A speech that is open to the public. He attended a lecture on telecommunications. A lengthy rebuke. A good lecture was my father's idea of discipline. A lengthy rebuke. The teacher gave him a talking to. Recovery or preservation from loss or danger. The act of delivering a child. The voluntary transfer of something, title or possession, from one party to another. Baseball. The act of throwing a baseball by a pitcher to a batter. The act of delivering or distributing something, as goods or mail. His reluctant delivery of bad news. Your characteristic style or manner of expressing yourself orally. The event of giving birth. She had a difficult delivery. Your characteristic style or manner of expressing yourself orally. His manner of speaking was quite abrupt. Communication that relies on hearing. One of the inherent cognitive or perceptual powers of the mind. The body of teachers and administrators at a school. One of the inherent cognitive or perceptual powers of the mind. A self-contained component, unit or item, that is used in combination with other components. Computer circuit consisting of an assembly of electronic components, as of computer hardware. Detachable compartment of a spacecraft. One of the inherent cognitive or perceptual powers of the mind. The use of language to perform some act. A course of reasoning aimed at demonstrating a truth or falsehood. The methodical process of logical reasoning. I can't follow your line of reasoning. A slight depression or fold in the smoothness of a surface. His face has many lines. Mechanical system in a factory whereby an article is conveyed through sites at which successive operations are performed on it. A connected series of events or actions or developments. Historians can only point out those lines for which evidence is available. The road consisting of railroad track and roadbed. A conceptual separation or distinction. There is a narrow line between sanity and insanity. A succession of notes forming a distinctive sequence. A conductor for transmitting electrical or optical signals or electric power. The principal activity in your life that you do to earn money. He's not in my line of business. Make a mark or lines on a surface. Draw a line. Often plural, a means of communication or access. Lines of communication were set up between the two firms. The descendants of one individual. His entire lineage has been warriors. Space for one line of print, 1 column wide and 1/14 inch deep, used to measure advertising. A short personal letter. Drop me a line when you get there. A telephone connection. Be in line with, form a line along. Trees line the riverbank. The maximum credit that a customer is allowed. A particular kind of product or merchandise. A nice line of shoes. A pipe used to transport liquids or gases. A pipeline runs from the wells to the seaport. A commercial organization serving as a common carrier. Acting in conformity. In line with. A formation of people or things one behind another. The line stretched clear around the corner. A formation of people or things one beside another. The line of soldiers advanced with their bayonets fixed. A fortified position, especially one marking the most forward position of troops. They attacked the enemy's line. A length, straight or curved, without breadth or thickness, the trace of a moving point. A mark that is long relative to its width. He drew a line on the chart. A single frequency, or very narrow band, of radiation in a spectrum. A spatial location defined by a real or imaginary unidimensional extent. Cover the interior of. Line the gloves. Fill plentifully. Line one's pockets. In games or sports, a mark indicating positions or bounds of the playing area. Mark with lines. Sorrow had lined his face. Persuasive but insincere talk that is usually intended to deceive or impress. Let me show you my etchings as a rather worn line. Reinforce with fabric. Lined books are more enduring. Something, as a cord or rope, that is long and thin and flexible. A washing line. Text consisting of a row of words written across a page or computer screen. The letter consisted of 3 short lines. Censure severely or angrily. An act or expression of criticism and censure. He had to take the rebuke with a smile on his face. Take to task. An act or expression of criticism and censure. Censure severely or angrily. An act or expression of criticism and censure. Rebuke formally. An act or expression of criticism and censure. An act or expression of criticism and censure. Designate by an identifying term. They styled their nation, the Confederate States. The popular taste at a given time. The 1920s had a style of their own. Distinctive and stylish elegance. A pointed tool for writing or drawing or engraving. How something is done or how it happens. In the characteristic New York style. A way of expressing something, in language or art or music etc. that is characteristic of a particular person or group of people or period. All the reporters were expected to adopt the style of the newspaper. A particular kind, as to appearance. This style of shoe is in demand. A slender bristle-like or tubular process. A cartilaginous style. Botany, the narrow elongated part of the pistil between the ovary and the stigma. Editorial directions to be followed in spelling and punctuation and capitalization and typographical display. Make consistent with a certain fashion or style. Style the dress. Make consistent with certain rules of style. Style a manuscript. A way of expressing something, in language or art or music etc. that is characteristic of a particular person or group of people or period. The use of uttered sounds for auditory communication. The sound made by the vibration of vocal folds modified by the resonance of the vocal tract. The giraffe cannot make any vocalizations. The use of uttered sounds for auditory communication. The utterance of intelligible speech. Delivering an address to a public audience. The utterance of intelligible speech. Capable of or involving speech or speaking. Human beings, the speaking animals.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.